This is Michael Tucker, and you're watching the new Legends on Deck podcast with host Brian Koss and David Conde.
Welcome to episode 51 of the Legends on Deck podcast. I'm Brian Koss, along with my co-host, David Conde. One of our favorite topics here at LOD over the last few years has been high school baseball in the state of Florida. We've covered a fair amount of it. And today our guest is in that same category of guests. We have Coach Mike Scudero of West Orange High School. Recently, he's been named the coach at West Orange after several years at Wekiva, and he's going to shape that Warriors program in the years to come. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. You get the privilege of being on 51. So the big milestone was 50, and now we're heading full speed to 100, which obviously we got to go one at a time, but I don't think we're gonna get to 100 as fast as we got to 50, right, Brian? We're gonna kind of like.
Well, I mean, you took true. So it depends on what rate of speed, but we did. So I think we're talking Thanksgiving 2021 to this summer to August. So almost just a little less than to get to 50. Basing it around our busy schedules. So.
Of course,
it's not always easy to do, but we keep clipping along.
Yep. So, Mike, we're gonna get started. We asked this question to all our guests. Kind of introducing yourself to our followers and trying to see your history in the game to kind of give us an idea where you grew up, where the game started for you, and then kind of like in the mix of that, what are some of your childhood memories of baseball?
Yeah. So I'm originally from New York. Grew up there. I've lived there about 30 years of my life. Played baseball since I was 5 years old. My father played professional baseball, so I've been in the game for a while. Had a pretty great little league. I'm not sure if you guys remember Danny Almonte, but I played him in the state championship, but unfortunately lost to him in the state championship. So that was a memory. Won a state championship in high school for Apopka, went 29-0. It was a good group of memories there. Played Division II baseball at Adelphi University in Garden City and very much enjoyed that. I got a chance to play professional baseball in the Frontier League in Chicago. I was there for 2 years, really enjoyed it, great experience. And then decided to go back to school to be a teacher and coach and really wanted to give back to those kids. So that's really where I'm at now. So I love baseball. I love baseball a lot. So, and I just want to give all my knowledge and all previous experience and stuff to those players that I'm coaching now.
Cool. So you mentioned Danny Almonte. Were you at all in Little League with the Little League World Series? Where you lived at? Did they have a powerhouse team?
So he played for Rolando Polino All Stars out of the Bronx, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we were in the state championship. We were one win away from going to regionals. And I pitched against them. And it was a good game for a while, but I'll never forget. I threw a 1-2 curveball that pretty much was in the dirt, and that kid, one-armed, swung and hit that ball over left field fence. I'll never forget that. It was pretty wild. But yeah, it was a great memory. I grew up with a great group of friends and stuff, and we've played since we were like 8, 9 years old, and we grew up and played high school ball together. It was awesome. Good experience.
Were there any guys that we may know of that you play with that came out of that your town that you were from?
One other my friends played professionally, but most of them played Division II, a couple Division I players. Nobody big time though. It wasn't until after the program started really building, after we won states, and they kept going back each year, and they redid the field and really built a nice program over there. So, but nobody that I really played with at high school ball that went too far.
You mentioned your dad played pro ball. How high did he
Mhm.
get in the game?
I want to say we got the AA with Detroit Tigers. He
Nice.
played in Lakeland for a while. My grandparents moved down here, so he was with Lakeland for a while. And then I think moved variously through there, and then I think he got injured, and then kind of his career was over after that, and then came back to New York and started my family. So
Did he have a big connection with you with baseball? Is he the one that kind of introduced you to the game and kind of coached you on your
yeah,
way?
so I'm I want to consider myself lucky. I had a great supporting cast. My mother and my father were great supporters, and my biggest supporters are my grandparents. Since I was in Little League, they've been at every single game pretty much until I was in professional ball. And even after that, when I played men's league a little bit, they came to all the games. I had a great support system. I was really lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your college experience. You were at Adelphi in New
Yeah.
York. And you're in pretty close to the area you grew up in. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just about 40 minutes away from the town.
Okay.
Great
Okay.
experience. Yeah, so I played Division II baseball at Adelphi. Got an opportunity to play going right in. That's why I really chose that school. Beautiful campus, baseball field right in the middle of the campus. It was a dream come true for a kid going to college to play baseball. But yeah, I mean, I had a great experience. I played when I was a freshman. I pitched a lot. I had a lot of innings. I had about 70, 75 innings. And then I did really well my sophomore year, and unfortunately blew my arm out. I got Tommy John surgery,
Wow.
which kind of hindered something that was going to be great. Came back okay. And then my 5th year, I threw very well. And that's how I got that professional contract through Frontier League. So great experience, though. Awesome. Some of the best years of my life in college.
Now, you got to being in Florida now, right? So David and I both grew up in cold weather climates. David in New York,
Mhm.
and me in Michigan. But now you're coaching ball here in Florida. That experience coaching baseball early season up in New York, or playing baseball, I should say, at the high school and the college level. I just don't think a lot of guys really understand what that's like. Down here when the weather's perfect when the high school season starts. So what insight do you have from cold weather baseball?
It's definitely a little more difficult. I have to say, my coaching down here when we started early, some of the boys get cold when it's really not cold. If it's 60, 70s, they're complaining. It's I mean, they don't realize yet.
Right.
But yeah, they don't know what it's like to get one in on the hands on the bat when it's like 40 degrees out and the wind chill, and you get broken wood bat, or you get right on the metal bat and it hurts. You get that sting in the hands. Not a lot of guys get that anymore. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to really, you can explain it to them, but until they experience it, they don't really know.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I was gonna say it's funny you say that because my son always complained, "Oh, I stung the bat." I'm like, no, they have no idea. Let me go freeze your hand. Let me go freeze your hands.
Yeah.
Because when we started baseball, like in September or something, we started for fall ball. It was so cold. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I playing? And I don't even think like back then. I don't remember when spring started, but because we played in New York in the summer. In Florida down here is travel ball, and I'm like, it's too hot. I mean, so in New York it was like perfect. Down here is like
it was, and they don't realize when you have to get the hand warmers, and the toe warmers sometimes when it's really cold.
For sure. So you leave. So you're playing at the D2 level. How did you guys do as a program while you were there over at Adelphi?
We did pretty well. We won a conference championship my freshman year. I actually got the pitch in it, which was great. Went to regionals. Got a little overmatched. Some good regionals, Division II. Then they made it to regionals 2009. I was hurt that year, so I didn't really get to play in it, unfortunately. But they did really well that year. And then my 5th year when I was there and I threw a lot, we had probably one of the best pitching staffs in New York at that time. I mean, we had a good group. It was about 4 guys that just were lights out. We made it all the way to regionals again. We were up. We had to lose 2 games that day. All we had to do was really win 1, and we ended up losing 2, unfortunately, and lost. But successful program. We were 25, 30 wins pretty much every year. I mean, it was awesome. Great program, great group of guys, great coaches. It was awesome. Good experience.
That's great. You keep in contact with those guys over there? Yeah, you plugged in with the program still?
Yeah. So my roommate and stuff, and a bunch of guys that pretty much stayed friendly with. That played men's league baseball with them after college and stuff, and the coaches. We still keep in contact on Facebook and whatnot. So we still get to talk to them and wish them happy birthday and see how they're doing and stuff. So yeah, still keep in contact.
So when was the last time? What year did last time you played a men's league? Throw a year at me.
2018.
Oh, I'm old. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I played men's league for about 4 or 5 years after I threw a lot of innings, and I still had something, but I wanted to come back home and start working and try to go work towards my master's and whatnot. So got to enjoy it a little bit on the side, but then my body just started breaking down as I got older. I'm not that in good a shape anymore as I was. So,
well, I don't want to throw it on here, but what era were you born in? You born in the early 90s?
Late 80s.
Late 80s. Okay, so
Yeah.
were you born around the time that the Mets won the World Series?
No, 88. I was born 88. Yeah. Just missed that. Yep. Just missed that. My dad saw that though, but I just missed that one.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I got to live the 90s Yankees. That's why I'm a Yankees fan. So
see that, but that's what happened. Everyone just shifted right in the 90s when they
exactly.
got good,
Yep.
So you kind of touched a little bit on independent ball. So what was that experience like? You came out of college and obviously, you didn't get drafted or anything. So you felt like this was the next step for you to kind of keep up the dream. So what were your experiences with it? What did you learn from it? What you take from that ball? I mean, how do you compare it? How do you compare it from college to go to independent ball?
It was the talent level was definitely a step above. I mean, a lot of them were like ex-pro guys looking to still try to make it. It was a challenge. I'll say that. Experience wise, like how I got it was I drove to Pennsylvania and threw a bullpen for this team, and they ended up signing me, and then I followed them in my car for like 2 road trips, and then we drove all the way back to Chicago. I got to live with a host family, which was an awesome, good experience. They had 2 kids, and I got to live with 2 other guys in their house. It was like this really huge, gigantic house in a rich area. It was awesome. I mean, I was lucky, blessed with that, because I know some of the other guys on the team didn't live in great houses, but the experience was cool. I mean, of course, playing Major League Ball, I'm sure is great, and this was just for me to get a taste of it, I would say. And it was a good experience. I wish anyone that plays baseball and plays college ball and wants to play the next level gets some type of experience like that and just sees all the stadiums and the people and the kids signing autographs and just being a part of a really professional team. It was kind of cool.
Did you feel like, just kind of walking on the field? Did you feel like, it's pro ball, it's a little lower level than the minor league level, or not really lower level, but within the same range, but you're not in the affiliated baseball. But did you feel like, wow, this is great, like this is something that was like a dream of yours that came true?
It was, I mean, I remember walking out the first time. We were in Washington, Pennsylvania, and that's where I got signed, and we were still there for that, and just walking out, I think it was like, I don't know, 5,000-6,000 people. And I've never played. I mean, I've played in front of hundreds, but I mean, just walking on the field like that, it was a cool feel, and just experiencing like that. It's something you could dream of as a kid. And then I got to pitch that series too, which was awesome. But it's a great experience. I mean, something you can only dream of, walking out on the field and seeing fans and stuff, and then going home when we drove home and playing in front of the home crowd was really cool, and seeing all the people into it, and it was a great baseball town. So it was just awesome. Really was.
it's funny that we've had a number of guests that have played at an independent level, and what's interesting to me when I hear about those experiences is like the independent ball like really offers players some opportunity to extend their careers, but like you said, also to kind of rehabilitate their careers too.
Oh
So
yeah, without a doubt.
you've got this interesting mix of players, guys that have kind of come out of college or went undrafted and are trying to make it as a young guy, or the old guys that were there and they're trying to claw their way back in.
Yep. Yeah, we had a couple of those too. We had a good mix of those. Yeah.
That's pretty neat. And I think a lot of people, that aren't maybe familiar with it, independent baseball. I don't know, some towns probably, like you said, playing in front of 5,000 or 6,000 people. That is probably more than most single A, double A experiences that most guys would have.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in Fort Myers, and I'm not. I mean, it's low A ball, but I think we went to the game a few nights ago, and if they had 1,000 people in there, it was
Yeah, Florida League.
It was a lucky night.
League games are
good baseball though. It's good baseball to watch.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing baseball. You wonder why
Yep.
people don't come out more often, but
Exactly.
But it's you're closer to the game than you are in a major league game, but it's still like kind of like, wow, there's nobody here. But I think high school games probably get a whole. It seems like it's packed in there
without a doubt. Yeah.
So let's talk about. So you leave. So you're done with the Frontier League. You play a couple seasons there. And then you get into coaching right after?
No, so I worked in a corporate environment in New York City for about 5 years. Model Sporting Goods. I don't know if not many people have heard about it down here, but
they had the Mets stuff everywhere.
Yeah. So I was an analyst and a buyer in the corporate world over there for Models, and it was a good experience and stuff. I ended up meeting my wife there, which was great. And then kind of decided I can't work in a cubicle. I mean, for 5 years it killed me. So I went back to school and got my master's in phys ed and health, and then wanted to coach. I really wanted to get back in the game because I'm just sitting there wasn't good enough for me.
Okay, so that's an interesting path, because a lot of guys will go, they're done playing. So what do? I jump on to coaching, but that's a great. That's a great transition, because you got to kind of see the world outside of that, and then decided to come back in and take it on again from a different angle. So when did you get your first coaching opportunity?
So I got a junior varsity job up in New York at a private school. Enjoyed it. It was a great experience 1 year. Then I ended up coaching softball at the varsity level for a public school up in New York, which was another great experience. Yeah. And then COVID hit and kind of shut down, and wasn't sure what we're doing. I had some family move down here. We ended up coming to visit them during COVID, and what's not to love about coming down here and seeing everything, and the weather. It's beautiful every day. So we ended up moving down here in July, and then applied for some jobs, and Wekiva called and got a great opportunity over there. So that's where I'm at with coming down here.
Wow. So you just, you're up coaching in New York, and you make that transition down here during COVID, like so many people did. Yeah. So you hit it at the time when, maybe the right time, maybe right before the wave came in mid 2020. So you come into Wekiva High School, which is in Apopka. And you're familiar with the area, you're not familiar with the area. Not really.
No idea. First time really was I think when I drove to the school was the first time I ever went. I think I visited Apopka beforehand for maybe driving around to see the school area, but that was it. And then I drove to the school and I was there. So I learned as I went along and got experience through that. Yeah.
So you're coaching there and you're teaching there too?
Yeah, I was a phys ed teacher over there.
Okay. Very cool.
So what do you compare with coaching in New York compared to coaching? And I'm not saying the levels, I'm saying in general, like how do you prepare yourself from coaching in New York than you are from coaching in Florida?
Yeah, I get it. I would say definitely the level of baseball is different down here. You can tell I mean, and kids play year round here. It's
Yeah.
tough in New York because you have some fall ball, but once that cold starts to hit, you're shutting down. I mean, kids are playing November, December, January. I mean, we're starting in January for high school ball, and then we start games in February. I mean, sometimes in New York you don't get to start till April with the weather. So if it
Yeah.
snows, but yeah, definitely different. They have an advantage down here, which is awesome. It's great. I mean, you get to play all the time, and the weather's the weather. It's beautiful here.
It doesn't, except I don't know if you want to coach in the summer, but I think you may want to avoid that. I think this summer, it's first summer we did travel ball, my son. And I'm like, wow, it's like, I think July was the oven. August has been great. It was cool today.
Yeah.
I'm like, this weather's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like since I've moved down here, it's up and down. July's been hot, then August was hot, then July's hot.
Yeah,
But definitely warm summers, I'll say.
You gotta say you missed the New York Christmas though. Have you had one down here yet?
I mean,
yeah, you've had a few down here.
Yeah, the seasons change in the fall up there was beautiful, and the springtime when it finally turned spring was nice, and of course the holidays and stuff in New York City was awesome. But yeah, it's great down here too. Okay, I have no regrets. I can't complain. I mean, I love it down here.
Well, this year you were named the Metro Conference Coach of the Year, and I'm going to say the high school name because Brian tends to say the names. If they're Spanish names, he kind of.
I mess up the Spanish name.
This one I'm going to mess up. So it's Wekiva. Okay, Wekiva High School, and then I always say this one in Apopka. Okay, I got that right. Okay, I always see that I've been in Florida. I don't know how to say that. So it was your third season coaching the program. So tell us a little bit about the program, your coaching experience. What was your coaching philosophy there?
Just building consistency with the program, which is what I'm going to try to do at West Orange. And teaching the boys to not only be great baseball players, but to be good young men as well, and work hard in school and really move forward in that and really give it their best. Not just go out to the baseball field every day and try hard, but you got to try hard in school because sometimes, I mean, baseball runs out. It's not going to last your whole life. You're going to need school, and you're going to need a degree, and you're going to need to get a job. So I really push for that. I push for education and push for hard work and just building a consistent day by day, get better day type of mentality.
The awesome part is that, you did play high school, you played college, and then you played independent. So, I always say the same thing to my kids that I coach in rec ball is that there's, is where the love of the game, right? We have to have that love. If it takes you to a level and that's the level you end up at, that's a huge accomplishment. It's not something to look down on. It's just, some of the guys make to the majors, not that many do, but it's just that experience that you've now been able to give back to these kids and maybe see how far they can push themselves.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's that's what it's all about.
Yeah. What are you most proud of your time at the high school?
I had a great group of boys over there. They were a great group. I came in with a good freshman class and worked a couple years with them, and I had a great coaching staff. I had two good guys on my staff, which was awesome. Just proud of seeing those boys get better each day. From day one, it made me really feel good inside to watch some of the boys. I want to say didn't have much experience with baseball, and then watch them go throughout the whole year and then get better at the end of the year. That's what really coaching's all about. I'd say I'm most proud of that, and then just seeing them grow and watching them every day in school and see how they're getting better and how they live their lives and stuff, and the guys who graduate and see how they're doing after. But just building relationships with those guys and keeping them and wishing them well and hoping they're doing good.
And I think go ahead. It was first time we've talked over each other.
Yeah, sometimes we usually do it at least once an episode. But finish up. Go ahead, David.
No, I was just saying that I'm sure you left behind you inspire those kids, to push forward, and your journey. We take a journey, we go on from new journey to new journey, but I think what you've left behind is going to just be that program's just going to soar because, those kids, you instilled something in them. Listen, we're from New York, right? And we got a certain way about us, right? But, but the message we bring is that hard work is the only way to do it. Without hard work, you're not going to achieve anything in life. So
without a doubt. I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I also think from a coaching standpoint, you teaching at the school, you get coaches that coach that teach some that don't, right? So, but there's probably a little extra of connection with the players when you see them in the hallways, and they know they can go stop by your room and talk about whatever's going on with them on the from a baseball standpoint or otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that helps build relationship with the players and the tight knit program, right?
Well, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, being on campus, and especially now that I'm at West Orange and I'm teaching over there now, and
right,
building a relationship with those guys and seeing them every day, saying even if it's just hello, walking by, just the fact that they get to see you every day, and just checking on them and constantly. I mean, it's helping me a lot, just seeing how they're doing in school and just keeping up with their teachers. I think being on campus is a huge thing for coaches, and again, building relationships, building that trust, and trying to have them buy into what you're doing. I think that helps along the way.
for sure. So you go from Wekiva, your Metro Coach of the Year, which is no small accomplishment, really, because we live in a really competitive baseball area. Orange County's got a lot of great programs. And then you've made now the transition to West Orange High School, which West Orange has been historically has had a very good program over the last few decades. Very competitive here on the west side of the county. And what are you hoping to do with this program? What are the next steps for it? And what's your vision, or how do you shape that vision going into something like this?
Well, first I want to say, I mean, the Metro Conf Coach of the Year. I mean, I couldn't have done that without my coaching staff and all the boys in the team. We had a great year last year, really a historical year for Wekiva and for all those boys. It was awesome. It really was, and I was glad to be a part of it. And we all got recognized. I mean, winning that award is not just a thing for me, but for everybody else over there too. It was a big thing. And going over to West Orange, I mean, it's something I saw when I moved down here. Just the tradition they have. I mean, going from the graduation walk in downtown and seeing everything they do and all the sports teams and stuff. The tradition is really kind of what brought me there, I'll say. Really enjoyed it, and something I want to do for the team is again to just build consistency and routines and just get them to buy into something great, because there is a lot of potential at this place, and I want them to see that, not just myself. I want the boys to buy in and see that there is potential for greatness over here, and if they work hard and they do everything the right way, I think they got a chance at it. So I'm hoping to instill that in them.
Great. Yeah, it's funny because I had looked it up. I was actually correct. West Orange was built in 1975. So as far as high schools and schools go in this area, it's an old school.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like, I've got Verizon across the street from me. It's 2 years old. Windermere High School's 5 years old. It's like this side of the county. It was West Orange High School was there for a long time, and I think Dr. Phillips wasn't built until the 80s. So you've got, like you said, a tradition, decades long tradition with West Orange High School, having been the flagship school over on this side of town. So yeah, that's cool. That it's interesting how that would be an appeal to you as a coach, because you're trying to step into something that's been established, right? So that's really good, though. That's a great opportunity to bring some to be a part of that community and bring something new to your own experiences and your own thoughts into that program.
Yeah, completely.
We're excited to see what happens there.
I appreciate it.
Well, I'm excited because now I almost want to move to Orlando. These top schools.
David's like, he's like, hey man, like you guys are talking to we're talking to all these Orlando area guys. He's like, maybe I'm living in the wrong part of the state.
Well, the baseball just seems to be. I mean, you got some. I mean, I'm sure some top kids came out of here and they go to FGCU, but you guys have had some big names come out of the schools over there. That means that you guys, as coaches, are doing a great job. So to talk, we had Dane on the show before, and he said something that made sense, that and I could hear it in the way you approach the game as well, is that you have these kids that you want to train up not only about baseball but about life. And if you could use baseball to kind of teach them about life, I mean, it doesn't matter what level they go to, they're going to be successful in life. I mean, you went back to college to get a degree because you wanted to come back to teach, you wanted to teach, and then kind of change the next generation of kids. So baseball, people don't realize it's just not the game or just sport. There's so much to it, and so much life lessons you can take out of the game and really help these kids. All you need is one to change their life. And you never know who that's going to be, but you're in a great position to do that.
100% true. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better.
Sometimes I say good things.
Yeah, we got our wisdom, our philosophy lesson from David today. So yeah, Mike, that we really like I said, we look forward to seeing what you do with the program here. I'm going to try and the game here in the next. You got a fall season coming up.
Fall season, yeah. September 12th is the first game. I think we're playing Horizon too, at Horizon.
I'll walk across the street, man. That's perfect. That is probably the best case scenario for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine.
If I'm not at that one, you make sure you contact me and say where you at, man.
We'll do.
I'll come over there. It'll be fun to see what you guys do and create some like I try to tease these guys, but we need some like we need our high school baseball to have like that same rivalry feel over here that we have with high school football. So that's
I'm hoping to build something like that going forward. Let's hope so, because I mean nothing's better than a good rivalry, especially in a high intensity play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
We appreciate it. So yeah, we're gonna wrap things up today and thank our sponsors, David.
Thank you, Easy Mortgage, for being a sponsor. Residential mortgage company, handles the whole state of Florida, multiple states around the United States, and of course DC3 Bat Company. They do custom bats, baseball gloves. Brian has one that has Legends on Deck custom baseball glove. He doesn't have it with him today, but I'm sure you're still breaking it in, catching with George.
Still breaking it in for sure. It's a quality glove, I'll say that. And it's kind of cool it's eye catching too, because I got the whole Legends on Deck, red, white, and blue.
That's awesome.
It sticks out. So George and I are breaking that thing in.
Yeah, and for all the listeners or followers listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, give us some feedback on our shows. 51st episode, going strong. I mean, like I said it before, 2 fathers with kids, full-time job, and we love the game, and we just love having guests on to kind of share their journey.
That's right. We got the at the merch shop, and also subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on what's it called, X now. Us on Twitter, X, whatever.
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah. We're on all the main platforms. So one of the ways you could kind of see what we've got out there. We've got some really good recent articles from a variety of writers that have been contributing to the site. So follow us on those social media pages and give us, like David said, give us your feedback. We want to hear from our readers and our listeners.
Definitely.
Mike Scudero, thank you for joining us today. Episode 51 of the Legends on Deck podcast.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me. Thanks so much.
You bet, Mike.